Hello and thank you for joining this session of Delphi Modernization Made Easy. This course is provided by the Delphi Parser Automatic Modernization tools, and with association of Embarcadero Technologies. I am Billy and I will be your speaker in this course. I am an artificial voice narrator, and I hope I will be clear enough for you to understand me. Your host for this course is Oren Avaram. Oren is a legacy Delphi modernization expert and also an Embarcadero's Delphi MVP. Oren is the founder and lead developer at Passivity Technologies Limited, the home of the Delphi Parser Automatic Modernization tools. Our course agenda is as follows. We will start this session with an overview of the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on the information technology systems around the world. As of 2020, we will explain what is a legacy IT system. We will discuss why Delphi is a legacy system. We will review how you can quickly and easily modernize your Delphi IT system and upgrade your Borland Delphi code to latest Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney. And bridge the gap of technology to 2020. In the next session we discuss the benefits of modernization Delphi-based IT systems. Later, in the third session we will discuss the legacy Delphi modernization challenges, and how to overcome those obstacles. In the fourth session we will talk about the major issues regarding legacy modernization project. And I will show you how you can easily run a successful modernization project using automatic migration tools like the Delphi Parser. In the fifth and last session we will get things running, by showing the Delphi Parser Automatic Modernization tools in action. These sessions are part of the Embarcadero's Modernization Summer Campaign, and will be followed by a live Conda session during this campaign. If you have any questions about Delphi modernization, or want to get more information about it, are welcome to contact me via the email provided here, or visit the Delphi Parser website. Thanks in advance for watching. I hope you enjoy this course and find it informative. The impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the IT world. In this ever-changing world, in 2020 as the world changes yet again, while struggling with the coronavirus pandemic and governments are facing a possible economic crisis, it has become clear to everyone that many IT systems over the world have become indispensable, a necessity, and in some cases a real lifesaver. As the coronavirus spread over the world, it forced us to obtain a social distancing. The lockdown made us stay at home, work and operate in remotely fashion, where possible. Many daily activities have become online as a way of dealing with the situation, causing a spiked demand for online services on the client side, as well as high performance and steady service on the server side, in which made us truly dependent on IT systems, like never before. For an IT system to operate as required, and provide an adequate service to its users, it is dependent on its resilience, connectivity, performance, operability, and its security. The coronavirus revealed the naked truth of these legacy IT systems, of being unreliable. Legacy IT systems were found to be too slow with low operability, low performance and insecure. Legacy IT systems simply could not deal with massive concurrent requests, in which resulted in low performance due to system overflow and severe crashes. In many cases IT system found insecure and suffered from cyber attacks and fraud. Although we live in the 21st century, it may seem that legacy IT systems are stuck in the Stone Ages. They may be connected to the internet, but they are simply not connected to the real world. Technology is made to serve the people. If technology fails to serve its purpose, it will be dumped and thrown away to the recycled bin of history. It doesn't matter if it is a public service, government, or private service provider. Sadly and unfortunately, most of the IT systems that has become a necessity in this time are outdated Cobalt legacy IT systems that are 60 years old, holding the most important data about us and our money. But also Borland Delphi has its share, and you may be surprised but even Turbo Pascal for DOS is still in use in many legacy IT systems as well. You cannot blame Cobalt. Cobalt has a place of honor. You cannot blame legacy IT systems for being old. It was the cutting edge of the technology, back then, in the 60s. It is our problem that the whole monetary system and our civilian lives are, still, based on them. Cobalt is the first ever business-oriented language built to serve bank in the 60s. It was created by IBM, which also built those huge mainframes and the prehistoric database, where they store and manipulated data, for the first time, in huge magnetic tapes. Still, if you want, you can blame the IT managers and the CEOs over the years, as well as the board of directors and the government, for not being responsible enough and not taking the required actions to make these vital IT systems more reliable, provide and operate as expected from them, and to plan a long-term strategy for the future and foresee the upcoming crisis. The 20th century has revolutionized our way of living today. In the 21st century, we rely on clean water, electricity, roads, transportation, sanitation, schools, hospitals, civilian life with law and order, police and armed forces, flights, shipping, private and public institutes and industries, markets as well as banks and many more. What do they all have in common? They all rely on technology. Specifically, in the 21st century, they all rely on IT systems, which many of them are legacy IT systems. Borland Delphi is also a legacy system, only 25 years old. Borland Delphi also has its share in this crisis as well. But failing Delphi IT systems, in contrast to Cobalt, are unacceptable. IT systems built on Borland Delphi are young legacy systems, only 25 years old. Closing this gap and bridging to 2020 can be done today, by migrating to the latest Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney. The coronavirus pandemic made it very clear to everyone that legacy IT systems' resilience and connectivity has become a life-saving necessity, rather than a wishful thinking. It is high time to modernize these Borland Delphi IT systems, before it's too late. Legacy is not a dirty word, it should mean successful, not failure. Legacy software runs companies and cannot simply be waved away with a magic wand. Whatever the legacy software does must be preserved. Legacy systems are successful and therefore mature, and likely have been in existence for a long period of time. Legacy IT system was built using technologies available at the time it was constructed, as opposed to the most modern software that are built using the latest technologies. Older technologies are more difficult to maintain, as the technology becomes obsolete, the developers who maintains it getting older as well, some of them may retire, and young developers are reluctant to cooperate, and those that are will to work are less motivated. This is a key point of pain for many legacy system owners and managers. The cure for it is of course by modernizing those legacy systems and get them up to date with latest technology. Borland Delphi version 2 to 7 are respectfully entitled to be called legacy, as huge worldwide IT systems are still running on them, providing services to millions of customers, if not billions. Borland Delphi started early in 1995, based on Pascal language, in a very defining moment in the history of technology, as most of the Windows-based development in the turn of the millennium, where all the industry switched from DOS to Windows, was made by Borland Delphi. Delphi version 2 to 7, although written in the late 90s, are still amazingly working, through the vast technology changes in the past 25 years. As a Delphi expert, I can totally agree that Delphi 7 can live forever and even survive after we are long gone, and become more and more like Cobalt as the years go by. Until one day it will be too late. If there is a light in dark, with all the coronavirus pandemic, is that it is a wake-up call for all of us, not just the developers and managers, but as humans, saying it's not too late to make a change. Delphi code is everywhere. Delphi code is spread all over the globe, in every industry, even more spread than Cobalt, since it belonged to a later era. In the dawn of the internet, Borland Delphi was spread in the time of Y2K bug like fire in a field of thorns. Therefore, it is no surprise why in those golden days of the new millennium, all the major companies and organizations that wanted rapid database application solution for Windows chose Delphi, and still do. Replacing the almighty BDE with FireDAC. Embarcadero's FireDAC data access control is the perfect replacement of the almighty Borland's BDE. It was built to replace the BDE, using the same class structure with the same look and feel, but with a super intelligent data access engine ever made. FireDAC, as well as BDE, is 100% pure Delphi technology. FireDAC is built to serve Delphi applications, unlike Microsoft ADO, or Java's JDBC. The glory days of Borland Delphi. What made Delphi in those glory days of the 90s the best development tool? It was the BDE, the Borland database engine. The BDE had a key part in the success. Back then, in the early days of the Internet and Windows 95, the ability to develop Windows Form application with client-server architecture in minutes, quickly perform database queries and show them on a grid, was something that no Visual C++, Visual Basic or Java development tool can provide, and to the non-Delphi developer it was practically impossible, or presumed as a very hard and dirty job. From 1995 until 1999, at the dawn of the Internet, as the whole world shifted from DOS to Windows, the BDE was the only driver who knew how to connect to Paradox, DBase, DB2, Sybase, Oracle and other prehistoric databases that ran on DOS and mainframes. The BDE knew how to bridge the gap from the 70s and the 80s, from those legacy systems made with those green terminals, as the above photo, to the new and cutting-edge technology of late 90s, the Windows Forms and event-based 32-bit applications. The BDE survived long hard years, in the past 2 decades, since its glory days. As technology changed over the years, computer, operation systems and database servers has evolved, and became faster and stronger, and as the Internet became faster and faster, the demand for more storing more data, more reports, more users, more computers, more and more, the BDE became slower and slower, and undependable. But as the technology has evolved faster, software providers stood still, and customers kept working with it, struggling daily on continuous Windows crashes and database failures, as well as endless deadlocks and poor performance. Still, they were working with it and still do. In 2014, it became very urgent to migrate the old Borland Delphi code, since the BDE became obsolete, and due to securities issue, was no longer supported on Windows 7. So, instead of migrating to Windows 7, they kept working on Windows XP. Many of them still do. Even though Microsoft declared a war on its own users, killing the Windows XP and forcing customer to move to Windows 7, and nowadays to Windows 10, still they won't move from Windows XP. Apparently using force doesn't work. In 2020, a lot of software are still based on Delphi 7, with BDE and Paradox on Windows XP, even though it works bad. Really bad. It works. But not anymore. The coronavirus made a stop to it. Performance and resilience, operability and security is not a wishful thinking anymore for an IT system providers, who wants to survive nowadays. It's a must. Back to the future, with Embarcadero's RAD Studio 10.4 Sydney. It's about time to move forward, back to the future, where Delphi was the holy grail of software development. Once again, it's time to move on and upgrade those legacy Delphi-based systems to support multi-platformed operating systems, clouds, mobile and IoT technology with the new release of RAD Studio 10.4 Sydney. Lucky for you, it is very easy to migrate from legacy Borland Delphi to latest Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney. Say goodbye to Borland Delphi, the BDE, to Paradox and Windows XP. Say hello to FireDAC, modern database servers, clouds, REST JSON, all with Delphi 10.4 on Windows 10 and mobile apps. Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 is alive and kicking. Moreover, nowadays, since everyone wants to upgrade to Windows 10, old Delphi users faces migration for the first time, whereas the rest of the world have been battling to survive for more than a decade, with every version of Visual Studio C# or Java. Furthermore, although many businesses wish to cross over to Linux or OS X while migrating out of Delphi to C# or Java, rewriting everything is too expensive, and may take too long. There is simply no logic in inventing the wheel all over again. All you need to do is simply upgrade the legacy code to fit the new Delphi 10.4 and replace the old database with a modern database server, and you're good to go. Now, it's even easier to modernize the legacy Delphi, using the automatic migration tools of Delphi Parser, as well as cheap. United Delphi Community. Together for a better world. In 2020, Embarcadero claims to have 6 million users. According to Gartner, in 2008 there were 2 million Delphi developers, and its population keep growing. The Delphi and C++ builder developers community is much more stable than people think. They stayed devoted to Delphi even though Borland was long gone soon after its peak with Delphi 7 in 2001, almost 20 years ago. Borland Delphi 7 was considered the best development tool for Windows desktop application for more than a decade, although it was not supported or upgraded all that time, as the following versions of Code Gear were a complete shame. The Delphi language, as well as its development tool and compiler, is so powerful that it survived the past 20 years, in the desert, through all the rapid changes in technology, staying together, building communities, keeping all Delphi developer together, bond for life, not just for work. Many of the legacy Borland Delphi IT systems are written in Delphi 7. The early legacy systems are stuck in Delphi 4. Delphi 4 is considered the first killer Delphi version, in 1998, just as Windows 98 was released, and the whole world was obsessed with client-server application and internet connectivity. Delphi was considered to be an orphan software, with no supporting parents, until Embarcadero acquired it in 2008. For the past 12 years Embarcadero revolutionized it to become what it is now. Finally, Embarcadero returned Delphi's lost crown and also gained back the Delphi developers' faith with the latest Delphi 10 editions, where the latest is 10.4 Sydney. If you wish to modernize your legacy IT system, but you simply don't know how, we are here to advise you how to do it right. Embarcadero Technologies are well aware of the situation. As of that, they opened few years ago a modernization center, where you can get all the information you may require to get you started. You can read all about migration in Embarcadero's website, watch videos and download free analysis and migration tools to help you get a clear view about your code. You can even get in touch with Embarcadero's MVPs or Delphi modernization experts, like Orn from the Delphi Parser. You can contact them by email, by phone, or even schedule a video conference to discuss all the burning issues regarding your Delphi modernization process. Modernization process takes its time, we know that. The first step is the hardest, and we are here to provide you the kickstart, and lead you the way to success. There is nothing to fear, we are here for you, and as you may know, you are not alone in this world. Together with you, there are a lot of developers, managers and owners. The exact amount of actively Borland Delphi-based legacy IT system and companies is unknown. We estimate that there are at least 100,000 essential legacy IT systems based on Borland Delphi, still in use, all around the world, with over 1 million lines of code, each. They are all running out of air and desperately in need of a migration. Together, we will bridge the gap, from legacy, to future technology for a better world. What's new in Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney? Closing this session, before we go further and explore the benefits of modernizing legacy IT systems, let's have a quick look at the new features Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney has to offer. Among FireDAC and all the data connectivity features we have already seen, the most impressive feature is that using the new Embarcadero's Delphi, you are already a mobile apps developer, and you didn't even know that. With the new Delphi 10.4 you can simply use your previous Delphi skills to develop mobile apps using FireMonkey instead of the standard Windows VCL, and make cool apps to Apple's iOS and Android smartphone and many other internet-connected gadgets, without the need to know how it works. The Delphi IDE and the embedded multi-platforms compilers to iOS and Android does it all by itself. You can use your own existing Delphi code, and simply customize it to work with all the new platforms, like Linux, OS X, as well as standard Windows 32 and 64-bit. The new Delphi 10.4 Sydney is an integrated modern development environment, with all the latest development features available to speed up your development work and make it fun, as the old Borland Delphi did. The new Delphi 10.4 Sydney also support all the new Windows 10 features, as well as high DPI VCL components and multi-screen features. With new Delphi 10.4 Sydney you can enjoy a rich and colorful user interface and user experience, with all the latest components from a variety of providers. You can use style sheets and layouts and embed high DPI images, along standard images with a quick intuitive way. You can also use the latest dashboards technology and make beautiful state-of-the-art reports. Delphi modernization made easy, using the Delphi Parser Automatic Migration tools. The Delphi Parser is a software utility robot and a development full kit solution, specializing in automatic code refactoring. It is designed and aimed to modernize database-oriented software legacy systems, built with Borland Delphi or C++ Builder. The Delphi Parser is a unique innovative technology, built for quickly and easily scanning millions of lines of code, identify the objects in various code sections and rewrites them to support new technologies. It does this quickly and easily and without human intervention. The Delphi Parser robot reads Delphi and C++ Builder code syntax and SQL queries. The robot does the job like no team of experts can do. It runs on a predefined and fully customizable set of rules for optimal use. It scans and maps the code, locate all the various occurrences of the code, identify and analyze what is needed to be changed, drill down to the specific line of code and makes the required exchange within the code base, on a separate copy. The Delphi Parser robot knows how to insert new rows or entire sections, change a word or a character inside the line of code, delete unnecessary code, or mark it as a comment, and can even document the changes, as a well-behaved developer. The Delphi Parser is fully customizable with a rule-based code refactoring engine. The Delphi Parser also support all kind of conversions. It can be easily customized for all type of code and components, like VCLs to UniGUI data scheme and any other given technology. Based on all the data the parser collects from scanning the project and analyzing it, it makes the changes wisely, based on set of rules and instructions. The Delphi Parser doesn't make any blind copies nor using half-baked data, voodoo programming, wild guesses or intuitions. The Delphi Parser is the best and easy solution for upgrading your legacy Delphi code to the latest Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney. Embarcadero Technologies recommends the use of the Delphi Parser for upgrading legacy software systems from any Delphi or C++ Builder version using BDE, or any other data-aware component, to FireDAC. The Delphi Parser is owned by Passivity Technologies Limited. Passivity Technologies is an official Embarcadero's tech partner. This is the end of the first session. In this session we talked about legacy IT systems, in general, and specifically about Delphi, and the impact of the coronavirus on the IT world. We discuss the urgent need to modernize essential IT systems, built using Borland Delphi in the late 90s, that have become outdated over the years, and nowadays fails to provide the required service. We also presented an overview of the legacy Delphi modernization solution to latest Embarcadero's Delphi 10.4 Sydney, using automatic migration tools, as the Delphi Parser, in which we will expand in the following sessions. Coming up next, the benefits of modernizing legacy Delphi-based IT systems. We will discuss the major modernization benefits on the business in various aspects, such as increasing revenue, reduce maintenance, improving customers' experience, empowering development and improve motivation, make the IT system highly resilient, enhance security, increase system performance, improve systems operability by connecting it to the latest technology, and more. If you have any questions about Delphi modernization, or want to get more information about it, you are welcome to contact the Delphi Parser, or Oren directly via the email provided here, or visit the Delphi Parser website. I was Billy. I hope you enjoy this session and find it informative. Thank you for watching.